Machine, pencil, cartography. There are some important lessons that I have learned while being a YouTuber. First of all, my channel needs to discuss real-world subjects in order to produce effective communications. My channel should build an insightful relationship with the subject matter that I hope to discuss. After all, without having the courage to discuss a subject matter, you really couldn't count on me to publish anything good at all. Even after discussing my desire to create journalistic articles that will reveal insight into the subject matter, and discussing my desire to effectively communicate my subject matter, I still have not waived my right to privacy. Therefore, I have reached a dilemma where I have a desire to communicate about things, except that I have limited myself by asserting my rights to maintain educational privacy. The best solution that I can find to this problem is to communicate by carefully researching and planning my articles and subject matter so that I can venerate the material that I am comfortable publishing. Then, for whatever material I am not comfortable publishing, I still have the choice to make repairs, and I am allowed to publish an alternative article that I am more comfortable with. It is also important for me that I construct a foundation of supplementary material so that I can actively assist my audience so that they can have accessibility to my communications. Because, as we know, these repairs could create barriers to accessibility if we were uninsightful during their planning. One of the topics that I might need to discuss on my channel for various different reasons is economics, and how much money things cost to produce, or how much money things cost to purchase and use. Discussing money is actually a strategic necessity, and you can see that many mature publications might often give quotas and estimates for how much money commodities might cost. The reality is that if I were to produce an article and there was a sharp and unexplainable inflection in my article, money might be the reason why this inflection had occurred, because discussing money could easily make me uncomfortable, especially if I had shallow pockets on that specific day. So I might acquiesce about how much money something costs. So I hope to design a couple of solutions to the problem of discussing money, and the most professional way that I could do this is to author and publish a few articles for posterity that communicated exactly how much things cost. This way, I am planning for a possible future where I had the capability to communicate about money in a highly titrated way and in the most transparent way possible. In practice, for machine pencil cartography, these communications will frequently involve discussing the prices of commodities that I could not perform navigations without. Examples include discussing the cost of navigational trainment or fuels. I could realistically produce and publish statistics about petroleum-based fuels, and I would go on to quantify how many liters of petroleum-based fuels I could purchase for a specific amount of money. And this is one perfect example of why I might need the ability to produce rigorous documentation of how much money things cost. This is because discussing the cost of fuels is a great way to create accountability. I have planned to discuss some topics involving money in a limited scope to a general audience, even though I know that I can't control my exposure to all the variables of operating in the real world. When I discuss money on YouTube, I am potentially communicating to a diverse audience, and I should anticipate that I am communicating to a multinational audience. For this reason, I have planned how to discuss the cost of items to a multinational audience. I plan on using BitCoin as a currency of choice, because BitCoin has strengths and merits when we are discussing the trade of commodities in an international market. Finally, we will discuss the scale of our financial transactions. If you are initiated in the trade of Bitcoin, you would know that one full-scale Bitcoin costs a lot of money. In fact, one Bitcoin costs about the same as a double-income family would make in an entire year, if they were both working respectable white-collar jobs, such as being school teachers or executive secretaries. One Bitcoin per year is normally enough to provide for an earnest living, since one Bitcoin is more than most people have in their life savings accounts. However, since one Bitcoin is such a large sum of money, we will naturally be interested in using a smaller denomination of money. So for this reason, Bitcoin enthusiasts like to use a smaller unit called a Satoshi. And 10 Satoshi is normally enough money to purchase dinner from a sit-down restaurant for a single meal. Thank you for giving your time and attention to watch my YouTube channel. I am not asking for any money in the immediate future. I am not currently asking for donations. I would simply like to plan for a future on this channel where I have the ability to discuss how much money various different supplies cost. The prices of these navigational supplies certainly have the power to make differences in our operations. These can either be positive differences or negative differences depending on our situation. So perhaps it is appropriate that these price insights might make an impression in the navigational advice that I will give. This has been Machine Pencil Cartography, signing out.